All I know is try to keep it as light as you can.
If you could take a few, that'd be great.
Everyone scream face, you're scared.
Well, you had a sixth sense. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
That's great. All good. And I thought that people were going to go the more machine route, and I was so...
They also glow in the dark. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. As they say, the early bird gets the worm. Make sure you come join us right here at Chattanooga. And don't bring, don't bring.
One thing back there, they went above and beyond. Each bag is based on what the whole thing.
I gotta pick this thing up. Hold on.
I've seen his work and it's f***ing terrifying. However, being in it was extraordinary. It was, and really I wanted to do it so much because I wanted to work with Nick. He's a fine filmmaker, really wonderful to work with. The experience of filming it was quite buoyant. You know, when you're doing something so dark, I think you've got no choice but to completely delve into it. And I love occupying that space mentally. And then afterwards, it is just like, right, fag and a cup of tea and a biscuit, because I need a moment not to be in that headspace anymore. So we actually laughed a lot as well when Nick wasn't trying to drown me or, you know, do other things.
being in a movie that has dramatic stakes is already sort of disturbing and weird. Being in a horror movie with those stakes was a new kind of disturbing that I really enjoyed being in, even if I would be too terrified as an audience member to witness it. I had a similar experience in ADR. You know, I hadn't seen you in a while, and it was the first time I was seeing clips of the movie, and Nick was in LA on, you know, my headphones, and I was kind of like, cool brain, Nick. Wow, you okay? It's just the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. I play Nina. She's 5 months pregnant with Peter's baby. And it's an interesting thing also how motherhood is depicted in my and John Cho's storyline, where I'm sort of, you know, I think it's rare that you see the woman, especially the woman who's pregnant, struggle with whether or not how she feels about becoming a mother, and he's so sure about it.
I think every culture believes that when somebody dies, usually somebody quite angry, there's some kind of energy left over. And that's the basis of our mythology, is that when someone dies in the grip of a terrible rage, you know, something dark is there and it won't let go. What's really new is, one, the Grudge has emigrated to America. He's really a visionary director, so that's why it's time. Plus, he can now make it with an R rating. He can let this spirit really scare the audience. You know, there's no censors stopping him. He can really show that the Grudge is in the hands of a madman. When you hear these actresses talk about their roles and what they put into them, it makes it very exciting, especially to watch a horror film with actors of this caliber. It really is an elevating thing. So to inject it with new life through great performances and talented visionaries, not just the actors, but the director, somebody that loves the original, I think, but understands you have to destroy the original and move on and recreate it in a brand new way, while paying tribute to it and nodding to the audience, but really finding new ground. I think that's what Nicholas did with this film. I'm excited to see if the audience will rise to the challenge, which I think they will, of what Nick and the group here has put together. It's not really laid out like a simple horror film. It is a challenging puzzle for the audience to really put together, and it's something that's not complete unless they've listened to everything, made some choices about how they think things would work, and not really finished until the very end.
The thing that fascinates me about this character and about the storyline is the mythology that evil knows no boundaries, and that it infects people on all different levels in all different ways, and there's not that much you can really do to protect yourself except keep on moving forward. And the character Faith I play is actually a very lovely woman who becomes infected, and it does terrible things to her, which I guess I could hear the soundtrack. I couldn't see the imagery, but I think it's a very powerful experience for everybody, because you enter this mythology and you can't get out until the end of the movie. The sweat, your heart rate, all the elements of adrenaline, the fear, fight or flight aspect of our lives comes into full play, even though you're pretending, you're not pretending. So it's a very exciting process in that way. What's exciting for me about playing characters where you go into the depth of your own personal fear is that something, especially in film, that everybody can experience together. And I always love the idea of especially seeing a film in a theater where all these strangers are all sitting having their own personal experience with the fear you as the actor are experiencing on screen. And everybody, there's that sort of that collaborative scream that literally comes out of everybody at the same time, in a sort of togetherness with strangers who are all having the similar experience. Fear can be both physical, obviously, if you're physically harmed, but the psychological aspect, I think, of what you created with this movie, and especially I felt that with my character, who again you meet as this kind person, and what happens, the deterioration, which is, I think, both both physical and psychological. So I think you really hit a home run in both of the directions. I'm just excited about the storyline. I'm excited to have Nick's work be seen. I have to say this, I told him I think he's the Salvador Dali of filmmaking, because he takes familiar imagery, and in this case a lot of female familiar imagery, and turns it on its head and makes it into different, he juxtaposes it in a way that makes you feel something new and different. So I think people are going to expect something particular, and they're going to get something even more exceptional than what they're expecting with this film. Thanks to our director, who is as willing to let you imagine as he's able to imagine. Some really exciting things happened, and you always have to clear it with the director. But fortunately, we were on the same page, and it was a very scary role to play. It really, really was.
Sam had wanted to make an R-rated version of The Grudge for a long time, and this is its incarnation. There's something very gritty and real about the way that Nick's made the film that I think is just going to be utterly terrifying.
FuturePreviews.com. Whoa! Go behind the scenes of movies. Subscribe to Future Flicks YouTube channel.